Hello to all you beautiful people on the internet. Sorry about that. I just ate some lovely yogurt. Today we're going to be looking at Magna's group. So that's Magna, Yumiko, and Luke. I'm not going to do Connie and Kelly because they don't really do much. If you want me to cover them, I'll do that in a different video. So first we're going to look at Luke. He is male. His hair is black. He is early to mid-20s. But we don't know what his job was before, or anything before the apocalypse. So in the volume A New Beginning, Luke is seen travelling with Magna and the rest of their group through Washington, D.C., where they are found by Jesus. Jesus escorts the group back to Alexandria to be interviewed by Rick Grimes. During the meeting, Luke tells Rick that Magna is their leader and the reason they have made it so far. Along with the rest of the group, Luke is interviewed by Andrea and later on debates about the group's next move against Alexandria. Luke later on goes with Kelly and Magna into Alexandria's jail, where he sees Negan, who grabs onto the bars of the cell, asking if they're there to save him from the people of Alexandria, saying that they're animals. Magna quickly sees through his act, however, and they leave. Luke is with Magna when they sneak into Andrew's house and demand answers about the community. In the volume Whispers into Screams, Luke is present when Andrea is explaining the group's history. As she leaves to get coffee, Luke asks for 2 cups. And in the volume Life and Death, at the fair, Luke, Magna and Yumiko are enjoying their new life together as members of Alexandria. Excited about what the fair has to offer, Magna wonders where Kelly and Connie could be, and that they shouldn't miss this. Yumiko speculates that they're probably off having intercourse. Luke asks Magna if she hadn't noticed their relationship before, and she tells him she doesn't really have an eye for that sort of thing. Luke sarcastically remarks that he's noticed that. Luke is somehow lured outside of the fair in the Alexandria safe zone by a disguised Alpha and was later decapitated by her along with 11 other victims. Rick Grimes, Carl Grimes and Lydia later found his zombified head and he was put down. So that is Luke. Let me know what you think of him down below. Do you think the TV series did him justice, or do you think they should have stuck with the comic route? Moving on to Yumiko. Next, we are looking at Yumiko. She is female, her hair is black. In issue 127, she is mid-20s. And in issue 193, she is late 40s. And before the apocalypse, we don't know what her job was, but after the apocalypse, she was a former soldier for the militia. In the volume A New Beginning, nothing is known about Yumiko's life after the apocalypse, besides the fact that she began travelling with Magna around the Washington, D.C. area. After they came across the herd being led by Jesus, Yumiko and her group returned to Alexandria with him to meet with Rick. Along with the rest of the group, Yumiko is interviewed by Andrea and then debates about the group's next move against Alexandria. She is present when Magna meets Negan and is present when the group subdues Andrea and demands answers. In the volume Whispers into Screams, Yumiko learns of the group's history along with the rest of her group. In the volume No Turning Back, Yumiko is present at the Alexandria meeting when Rick announces his plan to form a military to combat the Whisperers and cheers for him. In the volume Call to Arms, Yumiko is seen when the rest of the militia shooting roamers to practice for the war against the Whisperers. She does well while Vincent almost dies. She returns back to Alexandria's safe zone. She's alongside the militia when they are saved by Michonne and Aaron and go after Beta. In the volume The Whisperer War, Yumiko is seen with the rest of the militia while planning for the battle on the outskirts of Alexandria safe zone, and a few more times during the fight. Yumiko is seen crying while Connie has her hand chopped off by Kelly due to a bite. In the volume A Certain Doom, Yumiko helps some survivors bring the walkers to the ocean nearby Oceanside. Then Yumiko helps Andrea to save Eugene from the walkers. When Andrea was bitten and goes to Alexandria, Yumiko and Magna say goodbye, and she supports Rick alongside his other friends. In the volume Lines We Cross, Yumiko is seen heading out of Alexandria with Michonne, Eugene, Sadiq, and Magna. Later in the trip, it is revealed that Magna and Yumiko have begun a romantic relationship. Yumiko and company later make it to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where they meet Juanita Sanchez and will later get caught by the Commonwealth. Sorry about the noise outside. In the volume The New World Order, Yumiko and the group meet and are questioned by Lance Hornsby, who take them to the Commonwealth. Yumiko and the group later met with Sebastian Milton, and he flirts with Yumiko. She turns him down, causing Sebastian to get rough with Yumiko. He shoves Magna to the ground. Enraged, Princess tries to attack him. In the volume The Rotten Core, Yumiko talks to Magna, who is worried that the conflict with the Commonwealth is imminent. And in the volume Rest in Peace, 23 years after Rick's death, Magna is shown to still be together with Magna and is living happily at the Commonwealth. So that is Yumiko. Let me know what you thought of her character in the comments down below. Do you think the TV series did her justice, or do you think they should have stuck with the comic route? And moving on to the last one. Finally, we are looking at Magna. She is female, her hair is brown. In issue 127, she is in her mid-20s, and in issue 193, she is in her late 40s. Before the apocalypse, we don't know what her job was, but after the apocalypse, she had a bunch of jobs. She is the former leader of the Slade County Retirement Home, the former leader of her own group, a former soldier for the militia, a former deputy leader of the Alexandria Safe Zone, and the de facto leader of the Alexandria Safe Zone. A lot of formers in there. Before the apocalypse, not much is known, but we don't know whether Magna was born in Greece or if she had a Greek parents. Her father was homophobic, to which still affects Magna, who is uncomfortable about coming out. However, she reveals that she is of Greek descent in issue 171. In Richmond, Virginia, before the outbreak, Magna lived in the town, in the city, whatever you call it. After the apocalypse, Magna is one of the many survivors who arrived at a nursing home near Washington, D.C. Seeing it as a potential safe haven, she decided to stay. After a while, the home became too crowded. It is not explicitly said what happened, but Magna and a group of others left and set off on their own. During the next 7 months, several of her group mates were killed. Ted got drunk one night and was bitten, and Aubrey and Michelle were ambushed inside a department store and devoured. As they travelled further along, Magna says they had a system where all their possessions were hitched inside a trailer that was hitched to horses, and they sat on top of a roof of the car, seeing it as a mobile building that they could be secure in. She recalls that they ran across no other people while they travelled. In the volume A New Beginning, Magna is seen sitting atop of the trailer when one of the members of her group, Luke, starts a conversation with her about their travel destination. Magna stating that they all have no idea where they are going and they can take as much time as they like because of it. Suddenly, a massive herd of zombies burst out of the woods next to them and start attacking the horses, dragging the train carts, eventually swaying the carts enough so it topples over. Magna and her group are quickly surrounded by the zombie herd, and Magna herself is almost bitten on the arm. However, a timely rescue from Paul Monroe saves her life. Paul quickly dismounts from his horse and starts helping Magna and her group fend off the zombies, but one of Magna's group, Bernie, is devoured in the process. Paul then tells Magna to cut the horses free from the toppled train cart and get to safety, saying he and other members of the Alexandria Safe Zone scout group will rid the zombie herd from the area. After escaping from the herd on horseback, Magna and her group managed to get to a safe zone, and after a few minutes of hiding, she, Paul, and the rest of his scout group managed to begin leading the zombie herd away. Magna briefly gets into an argument with a member of her group, Kelly, who said that they should not trust Paul and his group, as they are the ones who led the herd to them and got Bernie killed. Magna says that it was not their fault and everyone is a dead man in the apocalypse anyway. Shortly after, Paul arrives on horseback to meet her and invites her to join Alexandria's community as long as she agrees to give her weapons over to him. Magna is hesitant to do so at first, but when Paul tells her Alexandria has plenty of food, she accepts wholeheartedly. After she arrives at Alexandria, Paul takes her to the community's great hall, where Rick Grimes is waiting to interview her group. Magna introduces him to all the members of her group: Kelly, Luke, Connie, and Yumiko. Rick then asks if she leads them, and she begins to say that they are a team without a leader. But Luke interrupts her and says that she is indeed the leader that kept the group together. Rick tells her that it is okay to be uncomfortable with the title of leader, saying that he was a while too. Magna then asks him what they should do, and Rick tells her that they need to hand their weapons over for a few weeks so that the community can learn to trust them. Magna is at first hesitant, but decides to talk it over with her group, and they decide that they will trust Rick for the time being because they do not want to pass the chance of living in such a thriving community. Rick then tells them to rest up for the day, as he would like to interview each member of the group the next day, saying it is best they get to know each other, and Magna agrees with him before she walks off. Andrea interviews Magna and her group. She asks how they survived. Magna says that they lived in a nursing home and that she's from Richmond, Virginia. She eventually left the home because it became unsafe, so the group left and headed towards Washington, D.C. because the last broadcast that they heard had urged people to get to big cities so they could protect people. She says there was this place they said with a greenhouse that grew year round and that it was amazing. Eventually people started showing up and things got bad, as she put it. And about 7 months ago, the group left. Magna goes on to say that about half of her group died. Later on, Magna is in a house with her group. The group debates on what they will do. Magna says that Alexandria is too good to be true and that they're hiding something. She then says that they will find out what it is they are hiding. Magna tells Rick that she and the group are still trying to figure out what is a private residence or a community building. Rick tells her that it's a jailhouse. That it's a jailhouse housing a prisoner for life. Magna seems surprised, and that Rick says that she could visit him when he returns if she likes before walking away. Magna, Luke, and Kelly all go to the jail, seeing Negan imprisoned. He asks if they're there to rescue him, saying that the people in Alexandria are animals. However, she does not believe him, saying she's seen what torture looks like, and he looks well fed and taken care of, and leaves him. Later on, when Andrea returns to her house, Magna's group pulls her in, and Magna demands she answers her questions. Andrea agrees, but tells Magna she best not threaten her. In the volume Whispers into Screams, Magna first asks Andrea about why Negan is locked in a cell in one of the abandoned houses. Andrea goes and explains a healthy portion of her group's history, including the events of No Way Out and the ending of All Out War and Rick's role as a leader. Magna is later seen along with Andrea working on the food fields. When she asks about Eugene, who walks past. When Andrea briefly touches on it, she switches the topic and comments on how Alexandria is great, and they seem to be overloaded on food. The two women then notice Rick approaching and greet him. In the volume Call to Arms, Magna is seen with the rest of the militia shooting roamers to practice for the War of the Whisperers. She does well while Vincent almost dies. She returns back to Alexandria. She is along the militia when they save Michonne and Aaron and go after Beta. In the volume The Whisperer War, yeah, I said it right. Magna is seen patrolling Alexandria with Dwight and Laura when she spies and she sees Negan approaching. Dwight wants to shoot him immediately, but she refuses, saying Rick would want to talk to him. She is later seen setting up the water tower with the rest of the militia. In the volume of A Certain Doom, Magna helps some survivors bring the walkers to the ocean nearby Oceanside. Then Magna helps Andrea save Eugene from the walkers. When Andrea is bitten and goes to Alexandria, Magna and Yumiko say goodbye, and she supports Rick alongside the other friends. In the volume Lines We Cross, Magna is seen heading out of Alexandria with Michonne, Eugene, Sadiq, and Yumiko. Later in the trip, it is revealed that Magna and Yumiko have begun a romantic relationship. Magna and company later make it to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where they met Juanita Sanchez, who joins them, and not long after they are found by the Commonwealth. In the volume New World Order, Magna and her companions are questioned by Lance Hornsby, who then takes them back to the Commonwealth to speak with their leader, Pamela Milton. Afterwards, they explore the Commonwealth and encounter Sebastian Milton, who creepily attempts to flirt with Yumiko. Magna, who becomes outraged, tries to defend her, but is suddenly assaulted by Sebastian. In the volume The Rotten Core, Magna is put in charge of Alexandria while Dwight and Rick are visiting the Commonwealth. She worries that a conflict is imminent. Magna later orders Heath and Vincent to increase the level of alertness. And in the volume Rest in Peace, Magna asks Sadiq to travel to the Commonwealth and check in on Rick. She also instructs him to stop by the hilltop to recruit some people for his mission. In the 23-year time skip, Magna is shown to still be together with Yumiko and is living happily at the Commonwealth. And it took me a while to notice this, but Yumiko and Magna are the only lesbian couples in there. It took me a while to realise, oh wait, that's actually true. What do you think of Magna? If you had control over her fate, what would you do with it? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think the TV show did her justice, or do you think they should have stuck with the comic route? Thank you all very much for listening. I apologise for my fast talking. It's how I get through this. And have a good day.